Hello and welcome to Kim's Cozy Corner. I'm Kim and I am going to show you how I fertilize all of my green stalks. Now, if you've been to my channel before, you know I have 13 green stalks. I talk about how I set them up, how I use a granular fertilizer when I set the green stalks up, and that granular fertilizer is typically good for a couple of months or so. For my raised beds, that's perfect. I don't need to add anything else for some time. But for my green stalks, every time I water my green stalks, I am sending nutrition out the bottom. And so I like to do a liquid fertilizer on my green stalks every 14 days or so. Now, I have a garden journal where I track how I fertilize in the garden. In this journal, it shows all kinds of other stuff as well. It talks about when you plant your seeds, when you need to start, when you transplant them out. There's pages in the back that talks about how my plants are doing so I can take notes on the plants. But today, I'm adding to the garden journal that I am fertilizing my green stalks. Now, in the journal, I will be putting what type of fertilizer I'm using as well. So let me show you that fertilizer. The liquid fertilizer that I like to use for my green stalks are Fox Farm Grow Big or my Dr. Earth liquid fertilizer. And these are my preferred two. There are many different ones out there, but these are the ones that have done best for me, and these are the ones I like to use. Now, when I get ready to fertilize my green stalks, and I have 13 green stalks, and I have a playlist with nothing but green stalks. So if you want to look into my playlist, how I set them up, how they're growing, because I have tours of my green stalks, all of that is in the playlist. But if you're interested in a green stalk, there will be a link below to the green stalk website where you can go and you look at all the different products and everything that they have. And if you want to buy a green stalk, and you're going to get to see my green stalks today, and some of the things like this is green beans right here, this is collards behind me. But if you want to buy green stalks, I have a coupon code Kozy10 that will give you $10 off your purchase of $75 or more. So you can always add that coupon code in when you go to the website. Might as well save some more money. But now we're talking about watering, or we're talking about fertilizing the green stalks. When I fertilize the green stalks, I first like to water them in really well first. And there's a method to my madness. If my green stalks haven't been watered in yet, and I do a liquid fertilizer in them, and then I go behind and water them in, I'm just rinsing it out the bottom. That makes no sense, right? So what I like to do is water my green stalks in really well, and to water them in, I fill it up to the top and I keep filling it up till water comes out the bottom. And then I move over and do the next one. And then I'll come back and do it again. That's how I make sure it's nice and moist and watered in. And then I don't have to water every day. I can water every 2 or 3 days depending on the temperature and the humidity in the area at that time. This time of year, I'm usually watering every 3 days or so, but it's been almost 90 degrees for several days, and so it's been quite warm, so I've had to water a little more frequent than I wanted to, but this hot spell is going away. I'm in zone 6A, right on the line between 6A and 6B, and I'm in Southwest Ohio, and usually this time of the year, I'm in the 70s, not 90. So we will get these watered in really well, which I've already done, by the way. And I'd like to wait at least 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes before I get ready to fertilize, because just like you don't want to fertilize and then water, you don't want to fertilize after you've watered too soon, because it can't absorb anything else, right? You don't want to put it in and it just runs out the bottom either, right? So I like to wait about 30 minutes. I know that it's nice, it's moist, I know it's not going to wick away, and I know that the plants can absorb it. And so about 30 minutes after I've watered, which it has been, then I'll follow this process right here, which I'm getting ready to show you. Since we're going to use the Grow Big today, and you start by giving it a good shake. So let's do that. My mother shakes everything, so I'm picking this up from her. So for the Fox Farm Grow Big, you give it a good shake, and there are directions on the bottle that tells you how much you need. And I know I'm going to use 2 capfuls in each one of my containers. My containers are about 2 gallons. And I know that's 2 capfuls in each one of these containers. And then I'm going to fill each of the containers up with water to the top. Now, I only do this for my green stalks every 14 days for the green stalks. For my raised beds, when I fertilize the raised beds, the water doesn't wash it away and down the street like it does with my green stalks. So the granular fertilizer is doing what it's supposed to be doing, is slow releasing like it's supposed to be doing. But I will do a liquid fertilizer every now and then, but not on a set schedule like I do with my green stalks. I did this last year, and I had some of the best green stalks that I've ever had, and I'm in year 4 of my green stalks. So I'm learning every year something new, something new. And so fertilizing every 14 days is the way to go. The biggest issue for me is that I can never remember when my 14 days started and when I need to do it again. And that's where the garden journal comes in. Now, if you're interested in my garden journal, they're available. They're available on Amazon, and the link is below in the description. Now, my garden journal is not a journal for a professional gardener. It's for a beginner. There's not a lot in the book. It's just very simple. When to plant, when to transplant outside, how to fertilize, and then notes for the plants that you have growing. So for this watering process, all I'm going to do is pour about half of this container into this particular green stalk right here, and only about half of it because I want to make sure it doesn't run out the bottom. And now I'm going to put the other half in this other green stalk just behind it here, and this is the process that I'm going to use throughout the garden. I'm using the same process over here. My pansies are not looking so good because it's been so warm, but I'm hoping as it cools back off, these pansies will start looking a lot better. Let me move on over and take care of the strawberries and this green stalk, and then we'll come back and head over to the neighbors. Same process. We're going to add a little more fertilizer to these containers, and then we're heading over to the neighbors. Everything's watered in. So that's how I do my liquid fertilizing. So that's my liquid fertilizing process. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. And I will keep sharing how I do everything at Kim's Cozy Corner. So until next time, and I hope there's a next time that you come back and hang out with me at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.